Yo, saying is yo. Oh, it's your boy Sylva, man. I'm back with another video. In today's video, man, y'all already see the title. Y'all already see who's on the screen, man. We got no one other than Joey Diaz and Joe Rogan on the Exorcist, man. So you already know how Joey Diaz gets, man. So without further ado, let's just hop right into the video.
That's why when you read Silence of the Lambs and you watch the movie, you got to get everybody in that room and give them a big hug, because they kept it honest, they kept it real. When you read William Blakely's The Exorcist, and then The Exorcist has been on for the last 2 weeks on AMC, and I've been watching bits and pieces of it, and I can't applaud it more.
You know who's fucking great in that movie? The priest.
That's Jackie Gleason's son-in-law.
Is it really?
Yes.
Wow.
Who's Jason whatever's father.
Jason whatever? Who's that?
Who he was in Sleepers with Brad Pitt, De Niro. He played the newspaper reporter. That's his fucking father. But Damian Karras plays the priest. That's Jackie Gleason's son-in-law. He married Jackie Gleason's daughter. And it's funny because last week I was in my office typing, and my wife called. She goes, "I'm going to be home in 20 minutes with the baby. So I don't know what you're doing." I go, "All right." So I went out to the living room, and I turned the TV on just to be out there, because I know she's going to want to watch cartoons or whatever. And I saw The Exorcist was on. I turned it on. And, dog, it came on when the priest comes to the door, which if I ever bump into that director, I will take his dick out and suck it. Because that's what real directing is. He scared you without showing you anything.
Yeah.
Remember, when the priest comes to the door, all you see is an image from the priest, and you don't see what his face looks like, and it scares you. But when he walks in, he takes this motherfucker, and the guy says to him, "Can I get you something? How was your trip? Can I get you something?" And he goes, "Do you want some coffee?" And he goes, "No, let's do this." And this guy's a psychiatrist. You have to watch it again. This guy's a psychiatrist. Not only is he a priest, and he starts dropping psycho, and the priest looks.
I've never seen the movie, but he's doing a pretty good job of describing it to me. So
and goes, "Knock it off. The devil is cunning. He'll attack you psychological like nobody else. Do not listen to him." And he just breaks it down. And then the guy says to him, "Do you want to know the 3 levels of manifestation?" And he looks at him and he goes, "No. There's only one. Satan is Satan." Dog, it's just right there. You're like, so my daughter walks in.
While it's on?
The 5-year-old walks in, and she sits on my lap, and she's a Bible beater. I don't know if you know this, that Mercy's a Bible beater. She loves anything with God, and, you know, I got a little fucking thing she gave me with Jesus, a fish. Yeah, Mercy, my daughter's a Bible beater.
A fish.
Even though she goes to fucking public school, she'll come home and tell me they didn't talk about God today. So she's watching this whole manifestation of these 2 priests talking about God is powerful, God's going to kill Satan, da-da-da-da-da-da. And all of a sudden, they walk into the room, and she's sitting up, and she's like, and my daughter caught, it took her like 30 seconds to just look at me, and she just ran out of the room. Like, she doesn't know who Satan is, nothing. She just ran out of the room. This is one of the scariest movies, one of the finest movies. She elevates herself, comes down. What about when they do the first thing, they walk out, and what about when they walk back in, and he's a doctor, so he's checking her heart, and she turns into the mother in the hospital and starts saying, "Dear me, why you do this to me?" And the priest told him, don't listen to him, that the devil's cunning. You know, and all of a sudden, what about when he comes in, he goes, "Father, how about sparing 5 cents for an old altar boy?" Because the devil I mean, bro, you have to watch it. And while all this is going on, you have to remember that there's a murder going on. Because the first night when she came down, before the devil came in, some guy was talking shit, a Nazi was talking shit, a Jewish guy was talking shit about a Nazi or something. And she comes down and pees and says, "You're going to die, motherfucker."
what is
She
happening?
said you're going to die up there to an astronaut.
A lot is happening
Wasn't
right
he an
now.
astronaut?
He was something downstairs.
Didn't she say something like that? You're going to die up there?
No, he was downstairs. They were in the living room, and they were singing like a...
But didn't she was talking to a guy who was an astronaut, and she
I'm
said,
not
you're
sure.
gonna
I thought
die
she just
up there.
said, "You're going to die." And then she peed the carpet.
Yeah.
And then
It was a dinner party.
And then a couple nights later, they found the guy on the bottom of the stairs, but it couldn't have been a girl because they twisted
Wait,
his
she
neck.
peed the carpet? What?
And didn't she was talking to a guy who was an astronaut, and she
I'm
said,
not sure.
You're gonna
I thought
die
she just
up there.
said you're gonna die, and then she peed the carpet.
Yeah.
And then
It was a dinner party.
And then a couple nights later, they found the guy on the bottom of the stairs, but it couldn't have been a girl because they twisted his neck all the way around.
Right. Yeah.
So it had to be a man. And that's why you have to watch that movie when the cop comes to talk to the mother,
I watched
who's a
that movie
famous actress.
The last time I watched it was like 5 or 6 years ago.
It's first one. It's a deep, dark
Great movie. That girl got fucked up doing that movie, you know.
Bro, listen. How can they make a 12-year-old girl stick a cross in her pussy?
Yeah.
I mean, let's talk about the truth now. She stuck a cross in her pussy, took it out, grabbed her mother by the ears, put her and said, "Suck it, eat me, lick me."
Yeah.
All right, and then picked her up and smacks her and throws her across the fucking room.
Wait, that happened? Hey, I personally don't watch horror films anyway, but a 12-year-old? Wait, is that legal? I don't know. You'd be surprised what's legal nowadays.
Says your mother sucks cocks in hell.
That's what she told the one priest. And I saw that in the movie theater. Shame on them.
That's crazy.
Like, if I could sue the Union City Cinema today, I would sue them. Because they didn't check my ID. They didn't give a fuck. They took my $2 and they threw me to the fucking wolves. But I also saw...
What is her name again?
Wait, $2
Linda
for a movie ticket?
She showed up
Must be
20
nice.
years later. She started hanging out with Rick James.
I've heard that name.
She showed up 20 years later with Rick James. I wonder what Linda Blair is doing today. But I hope they paid her a lot of money because she never really recovered from that.
No.
She never really worked after that. It's tough to get work after you put a cross in your pussy. It's tough to get a commercial for fucking this.
Yeah, well, it's also people
my
never
gosh.
forget.
Bro, imagine that. You trying to go work at Chick-fil-A or something, and you have it on your resume that you was the person starring in the Exorcist, and if they remember, wait, you stick a cross in your coochie, and, like, bro, that's embarrassing. That's funny too, though.
Get you were that person. Like, it's very difficult for people to have a changed perception
Dog,
of
when
you.
she walks down the stairs,
That's unfortunate
Backwards.
too,
what about when her head spins around in front of the priest? I mean, it's just too out there for a movie. They could never. They think of remaking that every once in a while, and they look at each other. Look at it.
though. Oh my gosh.
Jesus Christ. That was a creepy fucking movie. And you got to realize that back then, there was nothing like this before this movie. This movie was so extreme. Like, there had been horror movies before, but it was like Frankenstein or Dracula. They were kind of scary, but they weren't bloody. There was nothing like this movie. This movie was so over the top. And a lot of people at the time were like, the movie represented something. It represented a changing of boundaries. That people, these young kids, these people today, like, what the fuck are they doing? What kind of movies are they making?
You know what's funny? A lot of like movies, songs, TV shows that are like crossing like a bunch of boundaries and stuff like that. Most of those things tend to get popular really quick because one, it's really different, and two, you might think it's like crossing boundaries and it's kind of weird or whatever, but at the same time, you might start to like appreciate how good the song or the movie was. Like, there's a lot of things that people do, like The Weeknd, like how his music was like nobody else did his type of music. Like, he crossed like a bunch of like dark and fantasies into his music, and that's what blew him up. It's kind of very interesting to see that.
Catholics were pissed. I remember being in Catholic school, and they were just pissed. They were telling us not to go see it. We weren't allowed to go see it. I was right there when the movie got released, and I had to see it. And
Of course. As soon as they tell you can't see it, you're going to see it.
Blew my fucking... That's where I saw Rocky, where everybody was on their feet. yelling for Rocky. This is when America was different. Everybody was yelling Rocky, and I also saw The Longest Yard there, the original. And this was a movie theater that was basically Irish, Italian, and Cuban, but they talked, they yelled at the screen, they threw things at the screen, and when the fucking Longest Yard, when Burt Reynolds was coming back, the whole place was on their feet. This is a great movie theater. And they let you in. They played the last movie at 11:30. I saw, how many times I saw Enter the Dragon in there? The late movie. My mother would let me walk up there because it was on 48th Street, and my mother's bar was on 29th Street, and she'd go ahead. I saw everything there. Fist of Fury, The Outlaw Josie Wales, all those fucking movies I saw there. Anything they played, I just go there as a Spanish kid and watch it and learn the language, and loved it.
Joey Diaz been through a lot, man. Her stories are definitely interesting to listen to. Like, you could listen to, I could listen to his stories for hours, man, because they're very interesting. There's a bunch of things that he says that make you turn your head, but they're very interesting, man. That was the end of the video. See y'all in the next one.
Yes, sir.